Now then, welcome back to another episode of the Hypermine Infinity Evolved. Well, I've got a bit of a cold, you can probably hear it. I've got a bunged up nose. I've been taking some time out from making videos because of the cold. It had to happen over Christmas as well, didn't it, right? It happened over Christmas. Like, struggling making the Christmas dinner and everything, doing all that kind of stuff, trying to be jolly and happy and entertain all the guests that I had round. Family and friends just all walked away with the best present, a big, bad, cold, bunged up, chesty cough type cold. I'm kind of getting over it now though, so I thought I would come back to recording and do an episode for you before the new year. I haven't been idly doing nothing though. I have been building a few more levels here, as you can see. We've got the ground floor down there has actually got some use. You can see through the window, looks quite cool. Second floor, third floor on this side. Those two rooms on each floor have nothing in them whatsoever at the minute. The two floors down here, only one of them is defined, the other one's just got stuff in. You might be able to see in that window there's a little flashing AE system thing, a controller. Yep, that's working. And I've been trying to get this kind of stuff all done. And I would like to focus on finishing off this AE auto crafting area for today. So I've built up all the walls around it. And I've done a few other bits and pieces off camera. But the main thing that we're missing, the short of, in these areas is... while the downstairs, let's go down... The downstairs is good. It's auto crafting. It's doing the circuits and the circuit boards and auto crafting and stuff. Still needs a lot of refinement. Still needs a lot of tweaking. Like, I need to change that around a bit. And this is okay in this style, but I need more processing power, more speed, more. That's what I need. I need more. Everything I'm going to need for auto crafting, applied energistic stuff, needs an import into the system over here, because it's supposed to be a standalone system. So it's supposed to be standalone as in it makes it all the components it can itself, and that is where we're going to receive all the goods into this whole section. And then I want to output into an ender chest that I can carry around a little ender pouch with me. Let's go out here. So I can carry a little ender pouch around with me like this, so I can have access to all of the items in an ender pouch that are all the AE stuff. And I want that to be auto-refilling. So I want it to be auto-crafting and refilling a chest, so that I've got cables when I want it, and it will take cables out and so on. So that's what I want to experiment with. Now, previously, I've done this before. Well, check this out for a start. This is now the controller of awesome. It's kind of built off that big reactor look. I kind of like it. I don't want to put too much into it because it's a bit overbearing, and I'm sorry if you have any epilepsy or any things like that. But it does fit nicely with one of these in there, and I've now moved over all of the materials into the drives over here, and it's connected back up with the mining HQ. So everything is available here and the mining HQ. It's all linked up nicely and well powered and all that. And all my resources are all in terminal access all around the base and at the mining operation as well. But still, I want to test something out. So I'm going to play around in one of these spare suites that is as yet unoccupied, an unoccupied area, so that I can test something out and then rip it apart again afterwards. Alrighty, well, it's a day later. I'm starting to feel a little bit better. The nose is less bunged. You might be able to tell the difference in how I'm speaking. I'm actually feeling a lot better, but I've been carrying on just doing bits and pieces around this place, updating the cables and wiring, rewiring the place, as it were. Just to get these sort of things all fitted in and flexible and in the style I want, in the manner I'm accustomed to. As I probably explained fully in the last clip when I was showing you around what I've done so far. So anyway, let's crack on with this today. This is my ideal for a setup. I've got an ender chest here, which is empty, of course, at the minute. It is marked up with these particular colours, and I have an ender pouch, which opens said chest. You're going to see it opens it. Yes, and has nothing in it. Exactly. I could prove the point even more, but you get the idea. So from wherever I am in the galaxy, the Minecraft universe, I can open this chest and get things out of it and put things into it. Okay? That's how an ender chest and pouch works. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. No, not quite. I'm going to now take the interface, and the interface is connected to the crafting system for the applied energistics, and only the crafting system for the applied energistics. This whole section, these 2 floors, these 4 rooms are going to be a separate AE system that can talk to the rest of the systems via this chest. Okay? So if I need things for other places, it'll be that chest that can pull things from it. So, what we got? An interface is basically a place where you put stuff away. So you can put stuff in and it will disappear and be absorbed into the system. These little arrow slots here tell the system that you want to store something in there. So, for instance, if I put 1 cable there, I have left a ghost item that I want 1 cable there. Okay? And it doesn't have any cables in there at all at the minute, so I'm going to throw 1 cable in there, and 2 cables in there, and 3 cables in there, right? So now the cables have disappeared, but I've told it to keep 1 cable in this interface at all times. If I take that cable out, it will take it out of there. And so on, and so on. Okay? Until I'm back up to my original 22. So this is how I configure the interface to make stuff happen and keep stuff in here. And then I'm going to use translocators to put the stuff into the chest in the style that we were looking at earlier. So let's say that I want a stack of cables at all times. So I'm going to right click on here. Let's go with 20. Okay? So we've got a unit of 20. I'll probably do a stack, but let's do a unit of 20 first to test this out. So I'm going to regulate that I want 20 in that chest in the first slot right here. Okay, so if I do that now, that will try and extract only 20 cables at any time, right? So if I put 20 cables into the system, it will be absorbed into the system, then it should appear in the interface there, and then it should get pulled out into the chest. Okay, in theory that's working. So if I put 22 in there, it will leave 2 remainder because it's put 20 into there. Okay, so that's the first bit, right? But how do I get it to auto-replenish? Well, these cards that we went over a little while ago, there are a couple of other things that we can do, including adding a crafting card. Okay, there's only 1 slot in an interface, and the crafting card is my favourite choice. I'm not sure that anything else can have that. Yeah, none of these 2 can actually go in an interface anyway, because they're irrelevant. Capacity card, you can't increase the capacity, and speed, it's instantaneous anyway virtually, so there's nothing you can do about it. So this now crafting card means that it should allow tell the interface to craft items into this slot here. What we've got here is ignoring blocking mode. We've got blocking mode, and we've got ignore the contents of the target inventory. Do not push crafted items into the inventory if the inventory contains items, and so on. So as we saw there, it just went up 12. So it made the first 12 and put them directly into the interface. So it's now crafting these covered cables as fast as it can to stock up this interface. Okay, so now it's stocked up to 20. When I take these 20 out, it will put another 20 in there. I'll take those out, and it'll take the other one. So now I'm up to 42. Yeah, 42. And it will start crafting some more, look. And as soon as it's crafted them, it's taking them by the translocator and putting them in there. Yeah? You get it? It's pretty awesome, isn't it? Right. So that's how we're going to be doing that one. So I'll throw those in there for now. I also want it to take excess stock out. So when I've finished a job, and there's things that I don't want anymore, I want it to take it out of the chest. So the chest has 20 in, yeah. That is steadily increasing up to the full 60 amount. And I want to set this one to another 20 so that it knows to not pull any excess out and leave 20 in there. Like that. So now if I put some extras in, it will keep 20 in there at all times. Yeah, it'll keep 20 in there at all times, but it will also take them out and put them back into the interface, which will fill that slot up again, or go back into the system. Easy, understandable, hopefully. I'm going to do the rest of them and show you it fully working. Alrighty, so I got this interface set up, and I've realised a small snag in my plan. For one, the interface only has 8 slots, and I was planning on doing 9 items. And also, if I'm going to return items that are not AE or ME cover cables, smart cables, dense cables, or whatever, it needs an empty slot here to return items into. So, for instance, when I place, let's place a molecular assembler in there, it should get taken out immediately, thanks to that, because it's got a spare slot to take it in. That's the way it works. So I've been reduced to 7 items. And I think that these 7 items are the 7 items that I will use the most and need this auto crafting, auto chest type thing. Just little bits like I'm always short 1 cable, or I just need an export bus or an import bus or a storage bus or an interface. Those are the kind of like the 7 main pieces of AE equipment that I use regularly enough. Everything else is kind of like for situational purposes. So we got that. And I also want to do some big crafting up here. Big crafting units, big crafting CPUs and stuff. But for these items, I'm going down a slightly smaller route because they're going to be crafted small scale. They're just going to keep filled. They're not going to be something like I want it to craft 1,000 of something, or I don't want it to craft 1,000,000 different parts to make one big thing. So I was going along with what Ballantyne had put in his videos just recently. And if you've not been watching Ballantyne, well, actually, who am I kidding? You're all going to be watching Ballantyne, aren't you? Because Ballantyne is the man. He's also doing loads of things on the server as well. So if you're not watching him, more fool you. But Ballantyne chooses to do his processing centers kind of like that. Okay? But he's chosen, instead of 1K crafting storage, like 16K crafting storage or whatever, to make it so that he's got more memory available and co-processors so that he's got like 6 jobs being activated at once per crafting system. And that's all well and good. That's all okay for putting it on a main AE system that does all of the hard labour for you. And in particular, in his episode, he's making solar panels, which is massive. Massive, massive, massive solar panels. Lots and lots of crafting, lots of things needed. So that's what he does that for. Me, on the other hand, I only need it to just make some cables. So I'm going with this little design. It also fits a nice little 3x3 area that I've got going here. Ballantyne sleeping. Yep, it's now day. Good, good. Speaking of Ballantyne, he's online. And also Albanak, he's back and he's online. So yeah, this is the crafting processor that I want to use. I want to see what I'm doing. I'm only putting 5K of storage memory in there, so it's only going to do small jobs. And it's got 3 co-processors, so it can do 3 small jobs at once. Okay? And that's just to replenish the chest. So these are the crafting recipes that I need it to know, and a few other ones beside that I can throw in there as well, just so that it can craft these very, very quickly. Okay, so the other co-processing units and stuff that I have, I'll use on the next one. But that's basically my ideal for this. And I will have a great big crafting unit as well on the main AE system at some point in the future. But for right now, that is good enough. Now, I'm not finished there, of course. Now, I've been doing this kind of system all the time. Whenever I've done this before, I've always worked in a line, so alternating, up, down, up, down, up, down. I didn't quite do it here because I was in a bit of a rush, but I would normally alternate these all the way along, further along, all the way down, and continue this kind of pattern going through it all the way around. Okay, and I would do walls of these so that I could then quickly get inside and access, and each of the interfaces would have at least 3 of these molecular assemblers available to them for the crafting recipes. So each one had 3. Yeah, so it would move the processing around and make the most of the areas that I'd got. And I like the design, but one thing that Ballantyne has done recently is set up kind of like a cube, a crafting cube. He keeps his crafting cube separate to his processing things, though. His storage and his code processors and his monitors are all separate. But I'm going to be a little different than that, so I'm going to be putting mine on here. And I'm only using half of this, as it were. I'm only using the front section because, well, I'm going to be different. Yes. And I'm going to have them like this and like this. No, like this. Here and here. And give me that there. And put those 2 on there. So I'm having a similar sort of thing to what I normally do, but slightly cubing it in a similar way to how Ballantyne does it. Okay? And in this case, I've stopped at this point instead of repeating this side and having another set, because it's just not a requirement for this sort of size of operation that I'm running here. Because literally, I'm just going to be replacing a few cables and bits and pieces, a few buses and stuff every once in a while when I use them. I'm not going to be doing big crafting jobs with this particular setup. But I do like to be able to see what's being crafted, and I do like to be able to see the stuff that's going on in here at the same time, which is cool. If I think I could get away with it, I'd probably take these side ones off as well, just so I've got these front 3 and all the crafting's done by these for this particular process anyway. Because I've only got these recipes that I actually think I need to worry about. There are a couple of others that I need to do, such as the encoding pattern for that, which goes into making that, which goes into making that, which goes into making that, and so on and so on and so on. So I am going to put those ones in here as well. And I'm going to try and stagger them so that they're not all working at the same time. I've got 3 processors, so technically 4 processing can happen at the same time. 4 builds can happen at the same time. So let's start up here. We're going to have these little quartz fibers can start the process off there, and they've got 2 to choose from. So over on the opposite side, I'm going to do the first cable, so they've got 2 to choose from that are not the same, so they can work independently without using the same molecular assemblers. And then in the middle here, I'm going to then put this first one of those, so that that's got those 2 that it's already having a use of, but it's also got a third one available to it. So worst case scenario, this is using that one down there, and this is using that one down there, and this is using these 3 to convert all those components properly. I'm trying to make it so that it's going to be as quick as possible to replace stuff. So I'm going to throw that one down there, and I'm going to throw that one down there as well. So they've got another couple each. They've got 3 each to choose from as well. Mostly these interfaces will have 3 assemblers to assemble from. And then we've got these bits and pieces. So I'm going to do a similar sort of thing with these. I'm just going to put basics on each one, like so. So it sort of splits the processing up as best as possible. And then, well, the interface, may as well put the interface in that one. There we go. Makes little odds at that stage. So that is then basic auto crafting for all of those guys to keep this stuff filled up there. Now in theory, I should have all of the materials I need to get crafting up a bunch to actually do what I'm thinking of doing for this. The other chest has been set up, and it's got a full stack of everything except for nether quartz. I need to do another nether quarry to get some nether quartz. Or find a mob that can drop nether quartz. Do you know any mobs that drop nether quartz? If you do, leave your answers down below, and I will look into that one. I think I put it upstairs. Yeah, I'll put it up here. So I've got the AE auto crafting materials coming out of my main AE system and doing exactly the same thing as I've been showing before, but filling all of these slots. The wood comes out at the mining HQ directly, but these 8 items are coming from this interface here. So as you can see, yeah, I've run out of nether quartz at the minute, so it's filling what it can of nether quartz from the main system. So any wood that goes into the main system goes there automatically, and all the other materials are getting kept full from the main system and then ender chested down into here so that they can be made available to make all of this cool stuff happen. Alright, well, I feel like we're nearing the end of the episode. I know it's been a while for me over here messing about with this stuff, but I just thought I'd let you see what's going on here before I start finishing off and tidying up. It's mostly things that you've already seen. I'm just going to be moving things around a little bit and changing up the wiring, like this sort of stuff. Maybe moving some bits and pieces around over here. Maybe adding in some more bits and pieces over here as well. I'm going to be setting up these rooms to do all of the basic AE auto crafting stuff that I want to do, and keep this little chest of items available to me at all times. So let's get it working on something for now, shall we? Let's do it so that I want to keep let's say 5, let's get 10, maybe 20 in there. So if I take 10 at a time out by taking half a stack, as it were, then that'll be awesome. I'll take that out, and that is now awesoming out all over me. Thank you. And put some of that to 10 as well. There we go. So now it should keep 10 in there when it can. Yes. Oh, it was 20, wasn't it? Yep. Update that to 20 because I want to be able to right click and take 10 out at a time. So I could just take 10 out at a time, half of the stack, as it were. And this should now try and keep 10 items in there at all times, or let's say 20 in there at all times, just so that it can replace it very quickly. There we go. And can I... I just messed that one up, didn't I? Let's take this out again. What's the trouble with this? Right, take that out, put that in there. Okay, now add one at a time to make it up to 20. There we go. There we go. There we go. Alrighty. So now that should start crafting up all those bits and pieces, and we should see some progress downstairs. Let's just go the quick way. Whee! Should see progress starting down here. Okay, maybe it's already done it. Good job. I'm so organised. Running backwards and forwards doing this kind of stuff. So organised. Right, there's that. It's doing them one by one, but where's it doing them? It can't be doing them over here, can it? It is, it's doing them over here. Even though this is where it all's crafting. Yeah. You can see that it's crafting up the bits as fast as it needs them, though. But it's doing like 3 cables on each side here. So doing these bits as well. Maybe it's run out of quartz or something. Because the quartz fibre... Yeah, there we go. Look, it's doing 3 cables at a time, which is nice. And then it'll go through the processing, and it'll do another one. But it's using this 1K drive for it. It's also having to wait for glass to be made. So that's the next sort of stage that I've got to work on, is using level emitters and things to set the levels of stock that I want to keep in the system. So that things like glass gets auto-crafted. There's various other bits and pieces that I want to keep a stock of. At the minute, I keep a stock of these circuits, but I'm not keeping a stock of the processors themselves. It's making them on demand. And the making them on demand means that it has to go through that setup over there and slowly but surely make the items. So I need to set up a stock system where it keeps like 10 in stock at all times. So when it uses the first 10, it will either make some more to make the order, or it will just recraft the 10. So there's always 10 in the system just for simple normal crafting to happen. The same sort of thing will be right with glass, quartz glass, and maybe bits and pieces along these lines, like the Fluix dust, and the Fluix crystals, and the Certis quartz dust, and the charged Certis quartz. Things like that, where I need to have a stock available because it takes a little crafting time. Because every time I want to do something that requires a charged Certis quartz crystal, it has to go and craft them. If I've got a stock, then it just replaces the stock after the crafting has taken place. Hopefully, I haven't lost you completely this episode. I have been a bit ill, and it's been a long time playing to get to this little bit of work done. I've been taking this break during the holiday season between Christmas and New Year, and I've just been playing around on here a little bit at a time and recording this episode a bit at a time. So thank you very much for watching. I will be getting back into gear just as soon as this cold has fully left me, and probably next year. Yes, we're probably going to be in next year before I produce anything else. So thank you very much for watching. Have a very happy New Year, and I'll see you in 2016. Goodbye from the Hypermine Infinity Evolved server.